Welcome back, guys. It's Beverly again. So today I wanted to be talking about my experience with breastfeeding overall. It wasn't a long experience. I had stopped after 3 months of breastfeeding. So when I first had Davian, I tried to breastfeed him in the hospital. He was first born. I put him to the boob. He was trying, to adjust to the boob, but I was realizing that a lot of milk wasn't coming out for him. It was really hard for me to even understand how much he was drinking and if he was drinking enough. He was really fussy in the beginning, the first night. That was because I was only giving him breast. I wasn't giving him any formula yet. That first day he was born, but he was really fussy, and I realized that I wasn't producing a lot of milk. I just felt like he needed formula because I wasn't producing a lot. He was also having a hard time latching on. He would put his mouth on the boob, but he wasn't sucking on the nipple itself. So he had a hard time sucking on the nipple. TMI, just so you know, my nipple is not really out there, so it was a little difficult for him to grasp on it. So I had started giving him the formula the second day in the hospital. They try to force me to just give him the boob so that he won't get used to the formula. They freaking try to force you to do a lot of shit, but it's my child. You can't force me to do shit. They was telling me not to give him a pacifier, but I did what I wanted, and it could be the reason why he didn't latch on. It could be a whole different reason. I would never know, but I know that I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do as a new mom. It's my way, So anyways, I gave him the formula that day, and I was still giving him the boob. But what I tend to realize was that I was only producing a little bit of milk, and since he wasn't latching on, I had to start pumping the milk out, and I was trying to pump out a lot. I was getting at least 2 ounces of milk in the beginning. When I started to realize that getting less and less, I started to take stuff. So the breast pump that I used was Medela, and this one is a plug-in. The pieces is somewhere around, that's why I still have it. But yeah, so you could just change the settings. You can put the press to start pumping, and it basically pumps on its own. This is in the stash somewhere. This other pieces is somewhere else, so I don't know where they are. So I was using that to pump majority of the day, and I was also giving him formula. So I was doing both, but less and less every day. I realized that wasn't producing enough to feed him, because he was drinking at least 2 to 3 ounces every feeding, and I wasn't giving him enough. And his ounces were getting much more every time he got a little bit bigger. So I started taking a tea called Mother's Milk, and Mother's Milk basically is supposed to help you bring down your milk and help you a little bit more with producing more milk. But what happened to me was it dried me out a bit more. Every time I drank the tea, I realized I was having less and less milk, to the point where I was down to 1 ounce a day, and I became very frustrated. I wasn't consistent. It could have been another thing. You have to be very consistent with breastfeeding. You have to pump every time he eats. You gotta pump. It's you're making your body used to the fact that you're still feeding the baby, so your body knows that you're producing for a baby still. And with me, it was because of the postpartum depression. Pumping and feeding was kind of hard, so having to hold the baby and pump at the same time was a little difficult for me, than having to burp him and him cry or adjust, because I had to hold the pump as well. It was a little hard for me, so I will pump whenever I can or whenever I thought I should. And I realized, or I was told, that I wasn't pumping probably enough, or he needed to learn how to latch on, which he never did. And my issue with Davian was that every time I put him on the boob to latch on, he would start fussing. He knows the milk is there. He knows that he wants the milk, but he tries to put his mouth on it, but he would just lick. He will lick it instead of sucking on it, and the milk is coming out, but it's not coming out the way he wants it to. So he was having a hard time with that. And every time I went to the WIC, because I have WIC, every time I went to the WIC, you know, they try to push me towards, you know, getting like somebody to teach me how to latch on, ways to do it. I never had the time to go to, you know, those classes or whatever they wanted me to go to. So I just, you know, I started just giving him the 1 ounce every time I can, because, you know, they say every like drop of breast milk is important to the child, and I wanted my child to get breastfed, and I wanted him to, you know, really from the beginning it was always like inside of me that I wanted him to get breastfed, and I tried to push it, but once he reached 3 months, that's when I stopped. I also started taking these pills. It's called Nourish. So it says milk supply lactation support as well. Nourish, I don't know. I started taking that as well. Also dried me up. I tried many things. Majority of them, you know, dried me up, and I wasn't having a lot of milk. So I became frustrated and I stopped, you know. So I regret it in a way, but they say, you know, it's not necessarily like they don't have to drink the breast milk until like after 3 months. Is okay for them not to drink the breast. Davian is perfectly fine. He has been always like very alert, because, you know, a lot of people say that breast milk helps develop a child much faster, and I believe that a lot because I see the difference in sometimes. But when Davian was a newborn, he was very alert, always with his eyes open, laughing, talking. He was always 100% with his personality, and now he is still doing well. He has not gotten sick 8 months. He still haven't gotten sick, so I am so thankful for that. And, you know, it could be partake in me breastfeeding him for 3 months or whatever it is, but he's doing very well for him not being a breastfed baby anymore. So don't worry if you're not breastfeeding, but it was really hard for me, and not everybody has the success story. So if you are having a hard time breastfeeding, find the help if you need it. There's a lot of help out there that I never thought I would have, and, you know, I should have probably took upon myself a little bit more extraness to, you know, go harder to breastfeed him. But he's doing totally fine, and I'm happy with the outcome of it. So continue watching, continue showing love, continue, you know, watching us in our bundle of joy. Thank you.